Kicked here from the Emerald Minecart. Welcome back to another review, and today I'm reviewing the FNAF Into the Pit game. Now, yes, I know in the previous episode where I played the game, I said, oh, I'll be getting the final secret ending, but I realized that I would have to create a whole new save file just to get that ending, and honestly, I'm not really in the mood to try and do that, so, yeah. Besides, it's not like I need all the endings. At least I got like 3 out of 4 of the endings, which, you know, is still good enough already. Like, I finally have been able to get like 2 stars on the FNAF game. That's pretty even up and epic. But, yeah. Yeah, this is a game made by a new studio introduced to the FNAF license, which is Mega Cat Studios. They are known, or they seem to make, like, 2D games, aka games with, like, 8-bit, I swear, I know what I'm talking about, okay? I promise, I know how to English. But, yeah, from what I've seen, Mega Cat Studios seems to make a lot of 2D games that look really good, and I'll get to that later. But, yeah. So, obviously, this is a adaptation of the first entry, or first story, in the Fazbear Fright series. Which, if you don't know what the Fazbear Fright series is, it is a book series where each book has a total of 3 short stories in it. And this series came out after the wrap-up of the first and only good book trilogy of the FNAF series. Fucking fight me. But, yeah. So, back then when, Fazbear's Frights, the book series, came out, I was okay with it. But then more came out. And more. And more. And then they became canon. Even if, honestly, they should have been their own thing that should have been uncanon, because some really weird shit happens in the Fazbear Frights books. Like, the first story, which is Into the Pit, basically has a time-traveling ball pit, and then another story ends with some guy getting impregnated by a computer virus, and then having a little animatronic chest burst style out of his stomach, and then there's all this other weird shit that happens, and then it gets followed up by a Security Breach spin-off, which the Security Breach spin-off of Fazbear's Frights were one of the main reasons you could even understand anything going on in the Security Breach, and I don't get why the books had to be made canon. They should have been their own thing. But, yeah, rant aside, yeah, honestly, this game is pretty good. I really do like the, I really do like the, 2D pixel art style. It's honestly pretty good. I especially like the design of the characters and how they kind of have, like, these, like, big South Park-like eyes. Especially on the main character, Oswald, I almost said Oscar, but yeah, Oswald, yeah, I honestly kind of find it funny, especially since for Oswald, like, he always looks terrified beyond belief, especially since, honestly, I don't blame him, especially since in the story, like, his dad, for like a couple of days, is replaced with some animatronic, and only he can see that the replacement dad is an animatronic while everyone else can't. And also, it's not said in the story, but some people, specifically the FNAF fans, have implied that maybe the Into the Pit Spring Bonnie has had some action with Oswald's mom, which, you know, if I knew that my dad was replaced with an animatronic, and I was the only one who knew that, and the said animatronic was having action with my mom, honestly, I too would be quite terrified, scarred even, possibly might have some form of PTSD that would rival the PTSD of someone who fought in World War II. But, yeah. Like I mentioned, the pixel art style is pretty nice to look at, although I will say the pixel art style for the animatronics, it's a tad bit off, specifically for the faces of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. For the pixel art style of Into the Pit Spring Bonnie, pretty good, but it's just like with the faces of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, it's kind of a hit or miss for me, but besides that, it's honestly, like, again, the pixel art style is pretty good. But one complaint I do have is that there is, like, zero mention of Foxy in this game. Like, there is no Foxy. Like, the only clue of Foxy existing in this game is Pirate's Cove, and also one of the endings where, okay, so basically, there are 3 endings, technically 4. For the first one is the first star ending, where, like, you get your dad out of the place, but Infinite Spring Bonnie ends up pulling you back in and possibly kills you. But there's a version of that where, like, before you get your dad out, there's, like, this little, quick time event that you have to do, and if you fail it, that gets you the bad ending, where it's implied that Oswald is now Foxy or something, I don't know, but yeah. Then there's the 2-star ending where basically you get your dad out, but like before you go rescue him, or aka go to the ball pit to stop Infinite Spring Bonnie from choking him out, there's this picture you can find that has the picture is of William and Henry before shit hit the fan. And, yeah, you have the ability to, like, when you're escaping, you drop the picture, and Infinite Spring Bonnie ends up picking it up and looks at it, hinting that, yeah, this is William, like, some form of William in this bitch. And, yeah, you to escape, it's a wholesome ending, the credits roll, and I should mention, the music that plays during the credits is amazing. I don't know if it's Dako's Into the Pit song, which, if it is, then I don't know why I've been avoiding it for so long, but yeah, it is really freaking good. But yeah, after the credits of the second star of the 2-star ending, sadly, poor Jeff, which is the owner of Jeff's Pizzeria, yeah, he ends up definitely being killed by Infinite Spring Bonnie, which is a real shame because honestly, he's kind of one of my favorite characters in this game. So, yeah. And then the 3-star ending, which I wasn't able to get, but from what I've seen, it's basically where, like, you have to do all these, like, get all these secret arcade games, and one of them required you to get, like, a bunch of, like, tokens, which would let you play some arcade games, which would get you a lot of tickets, so you could get, like, different prize vouchers, so you could get some different prizes. Some of them being these 3 collectible stickers, and then one of them being something that would get you the first secret minigame, which is the whole reason why I just decided, you know what, maybe I'm just going to skip out on the last final ending. So, yeah, you have to do a few secret minigames, and then after that, pick up the secret picture of William and Henry before shit hit the fan, rescue your dad, and yeah, you get the, good ending. So, yeah, or the canon ending, I don't know. But yeah. Honestly, this game was actually, the game is actually pretty fun. I highly do recommend playing it. And, yeah, I give this game a total of 6 out of 7 stars. And also, something I want to mention is that there actually is, like, a chance we could be getting more, game adaptations of the Fazbear Fright stories. Like, there's been talks, like, maybe there might be one, of the, Fetch story, which has an animatronic who may or may not be a reference to Sparky. But, yeah, and also to mention that Scott, in the Scott 2.0 interview, Scott said that he has thought about Fazbear Fright's TV show, which, you know, would be amazing, but does that mean the story of Into the Flesh would be adapted? Because if so, that would be a very interesting story, or episode. And actually, speaking of that, in the Scott 2.0 interview, Scott even said that he regretted making Into the Flesh, which honestly, I don't blame him. I really don't blame him, but yeah. So yeah, game was pretty fun. If we do get, like, another game like this, that'd be really cool, and obviously, yes, I would play it. So, yeah. Anyways, that was it for this video. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, home guards, and goodbye!